Hello, everyone. I do hope you're having a good day. I'm about to go out for a walk, but I thought I'd touch base with you guys first. Um, our topic today is Relationships 101, how words make or break relationships. So the subtopic is words, sweet or spiteful. Yeah? So, one of the definitions that I found as it relates to relationships is the way in which two or more people or things are connected, or the state of being connected. And words can be defined as words that are expressed or something that is written or spoken in particular words. So before we go ahead, please go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and feel free to just share this video with whoever you think needs to hear it. So just moving on to a little story from a few years ago. Um, I was watching Beauty and the Beast with some kids. We're young kids at the time, and the as the movie progressed, there was this scene that was quite romantic between Beauty and the Beast. I keep saying best. Between Beauty and the Beast, and this little girl turned to her friend. We'll call him William, and she said to him, "After the movie, let's hug." And so it wasn't just childlike, they had something going on. They've always had something going on. So one of the aunties that was there watching with us, she protested, like, no hugging, no hugging. So the movie carried on and we watched it till the end. And when the parents came for their kids and stuff, and adults were busy talking, lo and behold, William found his little girlfriend, and they had their hug. They were hugging it all out before we even knew what was going on. So the words in the movie connected with their hearts, and they decided to express their love for each other as well. So words are extremely powerful in relationships, with everyday, like people in our homes, our children, our work colleagues. But today we're going to be focusing on words that occur between people who are in a relationship. So I just wanted to just give you some information as it relates to words. So the words that we use in the context of a relationship can either make or break that relationship. This is true whether the words are verbally spoken or if the words are left unexpressed, because you might not say the words, but it doesn't mean that it hasn't been heard, particularly when you're in a relationship. Like you communicate with your eyes, you communicate with your body language, you communicate with the tone of your voice. It's not just what you're saying, it's not just the words that come out of your mouth, it's all of these other things. And these also can also be classified as words because there's a communication process going on that can either lead to greater connectivity or breakdown of the connection between people in a relationship. In the book Working with the Law, the author refers to thoughts as things. The thoughts that you think, they are things. They take up form because the person with whom you're communicating actually picks up the subliminal messages that goes on even in the privacy of your thoughts. This means that even if a woman, for instance, has a genuine admiration for her spouse, even if she doesn't say the words, he'll catch those words in the way she looks at him, her tone of voice, her body language. He'll pick that up. He'll pick up the message. Conversely, if she has a disdain for him or for his actions or maybe his occupation, similarly, he'll pick that up and he will feel a sense of disrespect because she's thinking the thoughts anyway, and it'll come through. It cannot be hidden. So it's words are not just the words that come out of our mouth as per the definition, but they also include words that are left unspoken. So words from her perspective, because sometimes males and females use words for slightly different reasons or in slightly different ways. And definitely there is some overlap, but I'll just give you some pointers. So words from her perspective. From a woman's perspective, words are used to connect with her partner. So when she's speaking and talking, she wants to get closer to you. It's her way of getting to know you better. And women also use words as a way of releasing pent up emotions. There are some pitfalls, though, to be aware of. So, in a bid to communicate, sometimes women can use too many words. So, they can go into the details, like if they're trying to give like information as to maybe like something, an altercation that happened in a store, for instance, they'll take you through step by step what happened as they left the house, what they saw on the way, and just give you all of this information which leads up to what they're trying to say to you. This can cause their partner to feel overwhelmed. So using too many words can cause the partners to feel overwhelmed, because of just the sheer volume of the words. Women also have a tendency to communicate when they're emotional, so when they're angry, when they feel hurt. Some women feel like, I'm feeling this way, so you need to know how I'm feeling, and you need to know how I'm feeling right now. That's a danger zone, because when you're hurt, when you're angry, more than likely the words that come out of your mouth will not be the right words, particularly if it's a highly strong situation. If you're speaking out of anger, you're speaking out of hurt, you're speaking out of pain, your words are more than likely they'll come out wrong, and you might feel regret. But once they've left your mouth, it's very difficult to unhear what you actually said. So those sort of situations should be handled with the utmost care. So words from his perspective, words for men are often used to communicate specific information. But men can just be, they can be just as talkative as women, but for men it's a bit harder because they're not used to communicating as it relates to their feelings. So in order for them to communicate their feelings, there has to be safety created. So they have to feel like they have to feel safe in your presence in order for them to communicate their feelings. So more than likely they'll probably do it with their male friends as opposed to their partners, which is where they really should be communicating. But they feel a bit more sensitive and they don't want to feel judged. And because men are often placed on a pedestal and there's a lot of expectation from men to have their emotions in check, or for them not to even have emotions, to be honest. The expectation placed on them is like, toughen up, be a man. And it's not realistic because we all have emotions. So in order for men to actually communicate, they need a place of safety. Also, men have a tendency to try and solve problems, which is a good thing. But when communicating with a female, and the female is telling them all about what's happened at work or what's happened with a friend, usually men listen from the standpoint of let's get a solution, not actually understanding that what she needs is just a listening, sympathetic ear, and not a kind of savior or solution to the problem. They just want you to listen and to be understanding. So how can you use words that make your relationship as opposed to break your relationship? How do you use words effectively? So number one, I suggest that both parties are sensitive to each other's needs. So a woman might have a lot to say. So maybe something has happened in the day and it's a lot. She has a lot to tell her partner, but being sensitive to his needs and the timing. So the moment he walks through the door, that's not the time to download and tell him everything that's gone wrong in the day. That's insensitive because the woman doesn't actually know what's happened in his day. Yes, you may have had a traumatic experience in your day, but what about him? You're not going to know because you haven't even given him a chance to breathe and be aware that he's in a different location, his home now. So what I suggest is be sensitive to the other person's needs. When he's come back from work, comes through the door, that's not the time to go straight head on into any situations that may have happened. Allow him to get used to being at home. Allow him some time to rest. Keep watching and observing, and then you'll know when it's time. It's safe enough for you to just go ahead and express yourself. It's also important for the man to be aware of the woman's need to communicate with him, whether or not she's had a bad day or not. She wants to communicate with you. It's a way of staying connected. So be sensitive to each other's needs. Men need a bit more time to adjust, and women do need to communicate. So both parties need to be aware of this. Next, I'd suggest to use caution in emotional situations. So every relationship has conflict. That's just the way of life. There's always going to be friction. There's always going to be some kind of conflict. But how you use your words in those situations is of the utmost importance, because relationships can be made or broken in those crucial times. And all you need is just a few of those situations whereby you're saying the wrong words out of anger, you're saying the wrong words out of hurt. Before you know it, those words are piling up, piling up, piling up in the heart of the person who's actually hearing these words, and it's creating a distance, a gulf between you. You're not quite aware of what's going on. It's creating a gulf. Your words can create a gulf if they're spoken harshly. If you're speaking critical words, you can actually create a gulf with your words. So be very careful around situations where there's anger, where there's hurt. Discussions still need to take place, but sometimes you might need to give each other some time to calm down, step away from the conversation, and then return to the conversation when you both feel safe enough to communicate reasonably and logically. In such situations, you could possibly use words that couch what you're saying. So the information that you have to portray might be hurtful, but you could say something like, "Babe, when you do this, when you do X, it makes me feel Y." So just using that word "babe" at the beginning of the sentence reminds the person that you're having the conversation with that you still love them, but you need them to be aware of something that they're doing that's causing hurt to you. So it's speaking the key is to speak the truth in love, not just speaking the truth, because if you speak the truth, you might hurt that person grievously. But if you can speak the truth in love and take time to consider how you would want to hear it if you were in their position, if you were the one who's done something really bad, how would you want to hear it? So apply some creativity to the way you're portraying the truth. Apply love to the way you're portraying the truth. And remember that you're on the same team. That's key. That's key to actually communicating. Remember, you're on the same team. You're not talking with an enemy. You're actually talking with somebody who's on the same team as yourself. So you want to be very careful as to the kind of words you're using. And finally, unspoken words need to be spoken, particularly if the situation warrants it. So words that are left unspoken can be just as hurtful as wrong words. So if, for instance, a husband does something amazing, he does something amazing at work, is excited about it, comes home and shares it with his wife, and she just says nothing, that can be very hurtful. So it's important to be careful and to be considerate and in touch with the needs of the other person, and use genuine, heartfelt words of praise and affirmation when the need arises, which should be regularly, because you should be speaking more words of praise and affirmation than words of criticism. So those are my thoughts on how words can help make your relationship. So please feel free to subscribe so that you're notified of future videos. Go ahead and share with whoever you think needs to hear this. Until next time, do take it easy, stay safe. Bye.